This is a Red FM Vancouver podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe for more great content. For further info, log on to redfm.ca.
Mr. Barrett, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us. So what do you make of this V charity fiasco? Are you calling it a scandal yet?
Oh, absolutely. This is a scandal. It's the third such scandal for Justin Trudeau since he was elected Prime Minister, having twice been found guilty of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act already. We're now in a situation where he's being investigated this third time by the Ethics Commissioner, Mario Dion. And on Friday of last week, along with my colleague, MP Pierre Poilievre, we've called for the RCMP to take a look at whether or not this rises to the level of a violation of the criminal code. And with every day that passes, we see more and more members of Justin Trudeau's inner circle who are involved with this organization, who ought to have recused themselves from the decision to award a nearly $1 billion contract to this organization.
I mean, no, the Minister Bill Morneau's daughter is also involved with that charity. What's your take on that one?
Well, I mean, this is the same type of situation where, with that close connection, a financial benefit being enjoyed by the finance minister's daughter, that he ought to have recused himself from the decision-making process. We've heard reports in the media this morning that the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, as well as the Natural Resources Minister, also have ties to this organization, which raises the question of, did they recuse themselves? Did they decide not to participate in the decision-making process based on their relationship? And it seems that with every day that passes, it looks more and more inappropriate that Justin Trudeau's government created a program out of thin air worth $1 billion and gave it to his friends at the We Charity.
Also, your party's potential leader, Peter McKay's wife, Nazanin, has spoken into that gathering too, that We Charity event where 16,000 people got together, and Peter erased that deleted that tweet that he wrote in the appreciation of his wife. Why did he do that? It seems like everybody is involved, even your party is involved in We Charity.
Well, I can't speak for Mr. McKay, but I can say that he is not in a position to be making or awarding contracts, as he's not a member of cabinet. He's not an elected official, and so if anyone it's completely legitimate for any individual to work with a charity or another company. The problem that arises, the problem that's being faced by Justin Trudeau and by Bill Morneau, is that they made a decision that directly benefits this organization. So they awarded a $912 million program to be administered, and this company would have enjoyed nearly $20 million in administrative fees. Then that's what's being reported. With respect to involvement by any other individual, it's not the work of this charity or this organization that's being called into question.
No, I absolutely agree with you that nothing has been proven. You're right that Trudeau is in a position to, not a contractor, to give that distribution powers to this We Charity. And the same token, it hasn't been investigated yet that Peter McKay's wife was paid or not.
Right, and again, the decision for a private organization to pay speakers' fees to people who participate or present on their behalf isn't the issue that Canada's official opposition has. Our objective is to make sure that all Canadian laws are followed, that the acts of Parliament are followed, and I contend that based on the Prime Minister's relationship, based on Minister Morneau's relationship with this organization, that they ought to have recused themselves from this, from deliberating, from deciding on awarding this contract. And if they didn't recuse themselves, and they say that they did not, then I believe that they violated the Conflict of Interest Act. And with respect to the Prime Minister, the Ethics Commissioner has agreed that there are sufficient grounds to launch an investigation.
And Black Quebecois leader has asked the Prime Minister to resign, and Chrystia Freeland should be the Prime Minister now, taking over his duties. What is your position? Your party hasn't asked for it. What do you say?
Well, I think that after we found out that Justin Trudeau interfered in the SNC-Lavalin scandal and was found guilty of that, look, do I think Justin Trudeau should be the Prime Minister? No, I don't. But we are not formally calling for his resignation. If Canadians have concerns, as I do, I believe they should speak to any elected Liberal, and that decision can come very quickly from the Liberal caucus, and they can select a new leader. For our part, we're going to use the tools that are available to us through Parliament, and that is the Finance Committee hearings that Pierre Poilievre has initiated. He's asked for the Prime Minister to appear on Friday. Pierre Poilievre and I called for a police investigation, and this morning, along with other members of the Ethics Committee, we have written a letter asking for the committee to be recalled to begin studies related to this scandal as well.
Is it possible that Prime Minister was actually thinking about the good of the country? Is it not?
No, I think that it's very clear that in this case, Justin Trudeau was thinking about the good of his friends and the people that he's connected to. And if he wants to put the interests of Canada first in a situation where he has and his family has direct ties to an organization, the founders of this organization, one of them is a donor to Justin Trudeau's election campaign. He appointed one of these gentlemen to a federal commission. It is his responsibility, it is his obligation under the Acts of Parliament that he not participate in this decision-making process. So Justin Trudeau believes the rules don't apply to him, and he's going to find out once again that they do in fact apply to him, and that Canadians deserve to have public officials that they can have confidence in.
Mr. Barrett, what do you think, and what your party think about this sitting government does the handle of this situation? Which way it should be handled?
Well, it's very clear that the release of the contract needs to be made public. Any communication with respect to this contract needs to be made public, and those documents have been requested by the Finance Committee, but the government can release them in less time than is mandated by that committee. The Prime Minister can also participate in his. The government can urge the Prime Minister. Parliament can call on the Prime Minister to appear at this committee along with the Minister of Finance, and he can speak to Canadians through this committee, and he can be accountable to Parliament. And if it's found that the Prime Minister has again broken the Conflict of Interest Act, I think that it's time for members of the Liberal Party to reflect on whether or not Justin Trudeau is the right person to lead that party.
Mr. Barrett, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another Red FM podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and check out our Red FM Canada YouTube channel. For further info, log on to our Red FM social media platforms or visit redfm.ca.